Luka's emotions get him tossed in OKC. Will he be able to keep his head in his return to Dallas tonight? Which NBA coaches should be looking over their shoulder after Mike Malone gets dismissed in Denver? And the Knicks and Wolves, they exchange stars, but they can't change their late season struggles. All that plus, we keep drafting the top storylines of the NBA regular season today on Locked On NBA.
You are Locked On NBA, your daily NBA podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On NBA. Thanks so much for making us your first listen of the day. We are free. We are available wherever you get your podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I'm Doug Branson, host of Locked On Hornets and your Shot Clock Sherpa, guiding you through the NBA's biggest stories every day with the help of Locked On's local experts. And with me are two of Locked On's premier national NBA experts from the Locked On Nuggets podcast and senior NBA writer for the Action Network. He's our man of 1,000 podcasts, and he's probably done more than that over the past 24 hours. Matt Moore. Matt, you were busy covering Mike Malone's firing yesterday. We did a whole extra podcast on it. Check it out on our feeds. In a few words, do you have any more clarity on why the Kroenkes made this shocking move?
A real dedication to preserving the legacy of Nikola Jokic and outright childish behavior between Calvin Booth and Michael Malone.
And from the Locked On Bulls podcast, he's our Prince of Petty. It's Haize. Haize, Luka gets tossed by referee JT Orr last night in OKC. We're going to dive into that in a moment, but Lakers big Jared Vanderbilt said that when Luka Doncic picked up his first technical foul, JT Orr said he would, quote, talk to anybody but Luka. And I got to know, where does this land on your petty meter?
It's mildly petty. I've seen better. It's only mildly petty.
I think it's a full Richard Petty. I think that was full out petty. I'm not going to talk to any player, any person from the stands. Just don't send me Luka. I want to spend most of our first 10 minutes focused on tonight's game, Luka returning to Dallas. But we need to talk about this Lakers-Thunder rematch that we thought was going to be a wash when we first saw the Lakers injury report filled with questionable designations. But Luka, LeBron, Reeves, they all suited up, and it was a highly competitive game until, with less than 8 minutes to go, Luka gets ejected from the game. I'll let Locked On Lakers and Locked On Thunder take it from here.
7 minutes and 40 seconds left. Luka Doncic yelling at a courtside fan, Andy, gets tossed from the game by an overzealous JT Orr.
It was his second tech after he had been jawing with a courtside fan that did not seem like it was about to bubble over into anything really serious. From there, the Thunder went on a 25-8 run between the ejection and the point where the bench is emptied on both sides. As LeBron said afterwards, the game was weird as hell.
JT Orr was in the wrong. It was a wrong place, wrong time situation. Luka Doncic, I fully believe, was talking to the fan. You have to have better competitive maturity than what you showed tonight in a 1-point game. You just put your team up by 1 point. You already have a technical foul. All the fan said was that the shot was short. Is it worth giving that fan your attention for saying that the shot was short and running this risk?
Matt, did Luka deserve the ejection? And do you agree with Rylan from Locked On Thunder there that Luka has to be better in those moments?
Yeah, this one's tough for me. Okay. On the one hand, play stupid games, win stupid prizes. Like that is like my general feeling on this is like Luka does so much nonsense with the officials, and it grades on them, and they don't tolerate the way that they do with, like, I don't know, Draymond Green. So like, you know that you don't get the benefit of the doubt. So you got to be careful. On the other hand, like, you got to be careful with what you said to an official, not to a fan. Like, if you're not there's got to be a way to be like, and I think you have to listen. If the player, I honestly think that most players are gonna be like, I think most players would genuinely be like, no, I was talking to you. Yeah, that's fine. Tech me up. That's fine. Because they get so ramped up. I think if they're genuinely like, I wasn't talking to you, I was talking to a fan. Like, that's fine. We love that stuff. The NBA loves that stuff. Chirping is great. Everyone loves chirping. So, like, I'm torn on it. Haize, I don't know. Like, yeah, Luka probably needs to be smarter, but like he wasn't being not smart because he wasn't talking to an official. I don't know.
It seems like a ticky-tacky thing. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, Luka, he can be fiery at times, and sometimes maybe that reputation carries over. But, like, this seemed like a situation to where it didn't have to evolve into an ejection personally. Was he being petty? Yeah. Was he being a butthole? Absolutely. But it didn't seem like he was trying to, like, show up the ref and on that type of thing. Like, I've seen much, much worse. Like I don't know. And that's something that I really hope the NBA does look at eventually, is to try to, I know it's the heat of the moment. You can't really make like a standard of what constitutes an ejection or not, but this just seemed like the tensions escalated, but it didn't have to in this case. I don't think Luka should have been ejected.
Luka Doncic has been fined $75,000 for being a butthole, the NBA announced today.
I'm pro players chirping with one another. I'm with Rylan. I'm anti heckler. I'm anti fans making themselves a part of the game in this way. And it took away from this game. I understand it helped the OKC Thunder. They went on to rout the Lakers after that. But I think more often than not, and I have personal experience with this, having witnessed someone inspire Dwayne Wade to become a three-point shooter in the midst of a playoff series with the Charlotte Hornets. I feel like when fans inject themselves and start heckling stars, it too often hurts their team rather than helps them.
Yeah, and I'll also say this, like, Luka gets going from these kind of interactions.
Yeah.
Right? And so it worked out this time, but it won't work out next time, and it's not worked out in a bunch of series. Like, there's been a lot of cases of a fan taunt, like I think Minnesota had that situation too. Like, a lot of times a fan will taunt Luka and then he goes off. He's the kind of player that responds to that kind of stuff. So I get that side of it. I'm also kind of the opinion that you got to be able to allow players to have that kind of interaction. Like you have to, if that's what gets Luka going, that's going to be okay. And again, I just think that there was miscommunication, but we've just seen, again, I go back to this. We've seen so many stupid ejections this year, just so many stupid ejections this year, while Draymond Green waltzes through life. And it makes me a little crazy, Doug.
All right, well, emotions will be high tonight as Luka returns to Dallas for the first time since the Mavericks traded him to the Lakers. Haize, what do you expect from Luka tonight? What do you expect from fans? This is going to be weird, right? This is not going to be like Kyrie returning to Boston. I don't really know what to expect. What about you?
This is going to be, I don't know what to expect either, but I do think it's going to be a crap show. Like, the fans are going to be heightened. Luka's going to be out there to prove a point, as he should. I don't know if Nico Harrison's going to be in the building, but if Nico Harrison shows his face, it's just going to be that much more crazy. And don't allow the Dallas Mavericks to even be in a position where it looks like they can win that game and then they end up losing or something like that. Like, this is going to be one of the craziest things to happen towards the end of this last week of the season. I don't know if we've seen this much tension in a building in a while for two teams. So this is going to be really fun to watch.
Haize is killing me today with the middle school stuff of butthole and crap show. It's great. I love it. It's
on.
Like, no, I love it. It's great. It's great. I love it. I genuinely love it. I'm going to be saying butthole all day. All right. So this is a road game for the Dallas Mavericks at home. That's what this is going to be. Yeah. Because every time Luka touches the ball, he's going to get cheered. There's going to be constant fire Nico chants. Constant fire Nico chants. They're going to chant it while while the Mavs are at the line. They're going to chant it every stop. Like, it's going to be all over the place. I don't know what to expect from Luka in this game, because we just talked about how he gets going with that antagonistic. No one's antagonizing him tonight. It's just going to be like super emotional. So I don't know how he's going to respond to that. He might go for 60 to shove it in Nico's face. He might be overwhelmed by the emotion. I have no idea how this is going to play out. All I know is the Mavs are going to look bad. That's all I know, is that the Mavericks organization is going to look bad. I hope the Mavericks win this game, just because, like, I feel bad for my thought in all of these big superstar power play dynamics. Like, Luka's fine. He's the star of the Los Angeles Lakers. He's fine. But, like, I feel bad for all the rest of those guys on the Mavericks that got caught in the crossfire of this, and their seasons and careers have been derailed. And so, like, I'm hoping that the Mavericks are able to pull out a win tonight, because it'd be good for that team, even if the fans might be a little honestly disappointed that their home team won. Sports in 2025 is very confusing, Doug.
It's very confusing with star players getting ejected, with coaches with championship experience getting fired. Coming up on Locked On NBA, we'll follow up on this Mike Malone story as Locked On NBA's network of local podcasts. They're all asking the same question: is my coach next? We'll hear from Locked On Heat whether Erik Spoelstra could be the next to go on the hot seat. Yeah, we'll see if they make the case or not. Plus, an interesting question from Locked On Mavericks. We'll stick with this Luka stuff as well, coming up on Locked On NBA. Today's episode of Locked On NBA is brought to you by BetterHelp. Taking care of your mental health is just as important as taking care of your physical health, but traditional in-person therapy, it can be expensive, often ranging from $100 to $250 per session. That's where BetterHelp comes in. With online therapy, you get quality care at a price that makes sense, saving you time and money. Therapy isn't just for life's toughest moments. It can help with the everyday stresses of life, learning how to set boundaries, or developing positive coping skills. Having access to support when you need it can make all the difference in the world. Your well-being is worth it. Visit BetterHelp.com/LockedOnNBA today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/LockedOnNBA. More Locked On NBA ahead. Thanks again for making Locked On NBA your first listen every day. I want to hear from Locked On Mavericks, who had an interesting question for their audience and now our audience on Luka's return and where AD factors in this. Yeah, there was another player in that trade.
In basketball sense, who's more motivated? Luka to come back to show Nico, Patrick Dumont if he's there, and whoever else, this is what you're missing, and to go fully scorched earth, or Anthony Davis, who we saw in that Rockets game, came in and said, I've got something to prove to this fan base. I want to give the city life back and prove to Nico and the coaching staff and all that you guys picked the right guy. And I don't know who wins it at this point.
I think the more motivated person is Luka, but I think the person with the most to gain is AD.
All right, Matt, what do you think? Who will have more motivation to show their skills tonight, and who has the most to gain from winning this battle?
I'll say Luka. I just think that he's the type of person that will take this from a petty perspective and take it as the insult that it honestly was. And so he'll want to just drop an absolute, like it's going to be 60-20, whatever. Like it's going to be a ridiculous performance. Mavs defense is really good, and it's not going to matter. AD, I don't think AD is wired that way for these types of emotional kind of games. I don't think he's wired the same kind of way. So I'm expecting a much bigger game out of Luka.
Luka's going to have a huge game today. Yeah. And I think it's going to be, you talk about petty moments. We're going to put it up on the petty screen tomorrow because Luka's going to kill him today, I think. I think Luka's going to come in here. He's going to have a point to prove. And he's going to command that whole entire arena. Matt said it perfectly earlier when he said it's a away game at home because Luka's going to have that crowd eating out of the palm of his hands.
Isn't the most perfect outcome that Luka has 40 and they lose? Like, isn't that like the most like perfect outcome? Is Luka has an incredible stat line and is a -4 in a loss? Like that would summarize the entire discourse about Luka. I just think that'd be a really fascinating outcome. I'm expecting like 60-20-10 and they win by 70, but still.
Well, no one was expecting Mike Malone to get fired from the Denver Nuggets. Well, maybe except for Nuggets, people that paid attention to Locked On Nuggets. I think, Matt, you said you were not shocked. You were surprised. Is that correct?
Timing was surprising. The move was not.
Well, it certainly sent shockwaves through our local network of podcasts who seemingly asked in unison, is my coach next? That includes Miami, who also has a championship coach. Will Denver's decisiveness inspire Miami to pull the ripcord on Erik Spoelstra? Let's go out to Locked On Heat.
I don't know what it would take. Like Jimmy Butler in that situation was probably as toxic as it could possibly get. And if that hasn't cost Spo his job, nothing's going to at this point in time. Like I don't even think, again, that wasn't even necessarily a reflection on Spo.
Star players leave and then coaches get fired. It just seems to be an NBA pattern. You know, whether or not the coach deserves it or not. Like no coach has ever survived coaching LeBron James except for Erik Spoelstra. And it's not that LeBron will leave the organization and that coach will hang around for a year or two and then that coach will get fired because the team is just going in a new direction. And Erik Spoelstra has constantly reinvented himself along with the Miami Heat as the front office in tandem reinvent the Miami Heat alongside with them. But, you know, I'm listening to a Michael Malone press conference a couple weeks ago when he says something to the effect of, I just have no more answers.
Yeah.
And Erik Spoelstra gave a very similar quote during the 10-game losing streak where he's like, I have no more answers.
All right, Haize, which veteran coach should be most worried about following a Malone and Jenkins? Is it Erik Spoelstra?
No, I just don't get the feeling that Erik Spoelstra has much to worry about there with that Miami Heat organization. It just seems not to be the way that they typically get down. They stay there. And then they eventually, once ever Pat Riley moves over, Erik Spoelstra probably move into the front office. So I'm not really too worried about Erik Spoelstra in that case. I think in this case, he's the one that you don't have to worry about. He's safe, heat culture, all that type of stuff outside of what's on the court. I don't think Erik Spoelstra is going anywhere anytime soon.
How do you possibly walk into a room and say, okay, who can we get that's better than Erik Spoelstra? Like, how do you do that? How do you walk into a room and be like, all right, we have to replace Erik Spoelstra with somebody better? How do you do that? Right? Now, I would have asked the same question about Michael Malone yesterday and didn't save him. This is the whole thing. But I will just tell you this. I think this is a CBA question, and I'm going to write some stuff on this about I think that there's a lot of CBA impacts that are just causing a lot of stress on these organizations. So if you ask me, like, what coaches would you not be surprised at if they got fired? I would go through the list, and I would tell you Ty Lue, Steve Kerr, Doug Christie, obviously, Jason Kidd, Mike Budenholzer. That's the West in terms of the teams that are in the play-in tournament. Tom Thibodeau, Rick Carlisle, Doc Rivers. That's it. That's in the East. Those 8 coaches are all really great coaches for the most part. And I would not be surprised if any of them were gone. I would just not be surprised if any of them were gone because of the amount of tension that's existing now. All of these teams are like, they have good records, but they're not good enough. This is the same thing with Memphis and the Nuggets. Both of them were in the 4 seed when their coach got fired. Stay out of that 4 seed if you're in the West. I don't get it, Doug, but this is like the new standard. I'm not going to be surprised if there's more coaching changes that we're shocked by here over the next couple weeks.
Yeah, it's interesting. You know, with championship contending windows seemingly tightening, you know, it's not like an 8-year window anymore. It's like you got 3 or 4 years to do something or you have to pivot. And the extremes seem to be getting more extreme, right? I mean, you've got, I think, top heavy and then super bottom heavy standings here and teams that are either going in one or two directions. And the question is, like, can you find a coach that can do both? The answer seems to be no. You've got to have one coach that can get you through the tank and then one coach that can get you ready to contend. Haize, is it like impossible to have another Popovich situation where you've got a guy that can do both?
I mean, it's impossible. No, I won't say that it's impossible. It's extreme. It's going to be rare and rare now. Like, these franchises just don't have the patience to do it. Now, if you're a young guy that comes into a team with not much expectations and you grow, like, I think maybe the closest thing we may see to that is maybe Dangle with OKC. He has the opportunity to be that guy there. Other than that, right now I don't see any coach that comes to mind as that guy. But I think it's gonna be tougher and tougher to see as it keeps going.
You have to have such an ownership group that's like has such a long vision, and that's hard to find. That's just really hard to find. And I will say, like, that you can't criticize Josh Kroenke for not having that kind of vision because Michael Malone was there for a decade. Like, he's literally been there for just like 3 months shy of a decade. So he had that kind of vision, and it paid off with a championship. But even that wasn't enough once things dried up.
Yeah, I think one of the maybe pieces of analysis here is that it's not just the stability within the organization in terms of coaching, it's stability in the front office, because that's if the vision is going to align, the vision, if it changes, you know, between different characters, in this case, Connolly and Booth, then it can cause a rift that maybe you can't get out of. All right, let's move on. 2 teams connected by a huge preseason trade. The New York Knicks and the Minnesota Timberwolves are looking shaky as we approach postseason play. Last night, the Knicks nearly pulled off a comeback win over the Celtics, but they lose by 2 in overtime in MSG. They are now 0-9 against Boston, Cleveland, and Oklahoma City. Meanwhile, the Wolves allowed the Bucks to complete a huge comeback victory on the back of a 23-point triple-double from Giannis and an 18-10 double-double from Bobby Portis in his first game back off suspension. Here's Ben Beacon from Locked On Wolves to tell us more.
wanted to talk about Anthony Edwards attacking offensively early in the game, having that look in his eye, the bounce in his step, looking like he's ready to go. Wanted to talk about the Timberwolves' defensive tenacity. I thought it was there early. I thought they looked like they wanted to be there. I thought they were playing hard. Instead, the headline is the 24-point fourth quarter collapse. It's the 26-2 run that the Bucks went on from about 10 minutes left in the fourth quarter to 3 minutes left, which, by the way, more than half their shot attempts in the fourth quarter came from outside the arc, which in a game that you're trying to hang on to and you're trying to run out the clock / hold serve with your lead at the very least, ideally grow it, you shouldn't be jacking threes. You should be attacking the rim, trying to get to the free throw line. I mean, for the game, Minnesota had 9 free throw attempts. 9 free throw attempts for Minnesota. Milwaukee shot 25 free throws. Late in the game, it was the process, it was the execution, and then ultimately it was the lack of shot making, period.
I've watched a lot of Locked On Wolves this season, and that's the maddest I've seen Ben Beacon. He was enraged. I know it doesn't sound like it, but that is that he would have gotten tossed by JT Orr. I'm just telling you right now, he was outraged. Matt, more problems heading into the postseason, Knicks or Wolves?
Minnesota nice is what I think of when you say that. So
yeah,
I'm still gonna say the Knicks, man. I'm still gonna say the Knicks. Look, the Celtics got up 49 threes last night. That's it. 49 threes, made 19. Knicks got up 38, made 11. You can't stop the 3-point barrage. That's it. You can't go anywhere in this conference with it versus the Celtics if you can't stop the 3-pointer. You can't do it. I'm sorry. This is the entire ball game. That's it. I don't want to be reductive. I can tell you about matchups between any other two teams in the Eastern Conference, and I can give you like complicated analysis on how those two teams battle each other in transition, half-court sets, offensive rebounding, etc. With the Celtics, nothing else matters. You're not going anywhere unless you can stop the 3-point barrage, and the Knicks can't do it. The Wolves, this is who they are, man. Like, they could lose in the play-in tournament. They could make the finals. It's like there is no team with wider variance. So I'm just kind of accepting of the Wolves as like, yeah, they're never going to make you feel good because you're always going to be worried about that next what's coming around the corner. But their ceiling is very high. With the Knicks, I'm just like, yeah, you're a good team that can beat bad teams, and you're not serious. The Wolves are serious unless they're not.
Matt's on fire today. The Knicks definitely have more problems. I mean, the conference that they're in, the defense, the record above 500 teams, all those things play into part to where the Knicks have been a team that's won a lot of games, but I just don't see them as a team that has enough in the playoffs. Their defense is going to get them absolutely cooked. Maybe even as early as the first round, but anything past the first round, I'm not really looking at them as a chance to make it past, the second round. So the Knicks, and it's crazy because I like a lot of the players on the Knicks. Jalen Brunson's on there. Yeah, he's from Chicago. I have a little bit of love for Jalen Brunson because of that. But, I would love for this Knicks team to be able to go on a long and deep playoff run and go to the finals or East Conference finals or something like that. But it's not going to happen there for them. The Wolves are a team that I don't know if I see them the way Matt does, where I say that they can make the Western Conference Finals, but I do think depending on how the seeding checks out for them, they can go on a really nice run in the Western Conference. And this is a team that was kind of peaking at the right time. They have Anthony Edwards, who I think could be the best player in a lot of these series potentially in the playoffs. So the Knicks have a way tougher go right now, and hopefully they can make some changes in the offseason.
Correction, I did not say Western Conference Finals. I said finals. Thank you very much.
You did.
Whoa.
I'm sorry.
Huge. All right, coming up on Locked On NBA, one team that I think few would be surprised if they got to the NBA Finals, the Cleveland Cavaliers clinched the number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference last night, but is it sustainable? We'll hear from Danny Cunningham of Locked On Cavs, and we'll continue our draft of the top storylines of the NBA regular season. That's coming up on Locked On NBA. Today's episode of Locked On NBA is brought to you by Robinhood. With Robinhood Gold, you can now enjoy the VIP treatment, receiving a 3% IRA match on retirement contributions. The privileges of the very privileged are no longer exclusive. With Robinhood Gold, your annual IRA contributions are boosted by 3%. Plus, you also get 4% APY on your cash in non-retirement accounts. That's over 8 times the national savings average. The perks of the high net worth are now available for any net worth. The new gold standard is here with Robinhood Gold. To receive your 3% boost on annual IRA contributions, sign up at Robinhood.com/gold. Investing involves risk. Rate subject to change. 3% match requires Robinhood Gold at $5 a month for 1 year from first match. Must keep funds at IRA for 5 years. Go to Robinhood.com/boost. Over 8 times the national average savings account interest rate claim is based on data from the FDIC as of November 18th, 2024. Robinhood Financial LLC, member SIPC. Gold membership is offered by Robinhood Gold LLC. More Locked On NBA ahead. Thanks for making Locked On NBA your first listen every day. The Cavaliers clinched the number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference with a 22-point win over the Bulls last night. Let's hear from Locked On Cavs host Danny Cunningham, who was feeling very retrospective this morning.
Wire to wire, the Cavs have been the best team in the Eastern Conference. And for most of the season, they were the best team in the NBA. That obviously has not necessarily been the case because of the last month and what OKC has done. The Cavs have earned this, and they've earned this for a number of different reasons, because Evan Mobley has taken such a big step up this year on both ends of the floor. They've earned this because Donovan Mitchell's willingness to accept a little bit of a lesser role on the floor and a bigger role in terms of leadership. They've earned this because Kenny Atkinson has been fantastic and, in my opinion, should be the coach of the year, no questions asked. They've earned this because Darius Garland has returned to all-star form this season. I don't think this is a thing where the Cavs are just going to pop up out of nowhere, have a season where they win 63, 64, 65, or 66 games, and then go back to being just, they're a good team the rest of the way. I think that this is a team that is built to have substantial long-term success.
All right, Haize, you got a close look at them, so we'll start with you. Can the Cavaliers keep this success going, or is this a one-off season and next season they're back, we'll say in the low 40s, high 30s?
It's going to be tough when they get eliminated by the Bulls in the first round of the playoffs. Let me just stop playing. I'm not that much of a homer. No, I think this team is built for success. And that's why I keep, every time we talk about the Cavs, I talk about how I hope this playoffs, like an Evan Mobley or Darius Garland, really show out and become a star in this playoff run, because this can be very sustainable. They got their whole entire core locked in for a long time. They got young players that still have room in their game left to grow in Darius Garland and Evan Mobley, and they do have some flexibility if they do decide to make a decision to move off like a Jared Allen or something, depending on how this playoff run ends. They have the ability to do that. I don't think that they should. I think Jared Allen's been great for him. It's going to be hard to find another player that fits in that seamless. So I don't think the Cavs are going to go back to just fall back to be a regular team in the Eastern Conference. I wouldn't be surprised if the Celtics have a better record than them next year or anything like that. But this is a Cavs team that I think is going to be very dangerous in the East for the foreseeable future.
Lakers in 2020, 52-19. Clippers 49-23. 2021, Sixers, number 1 in the East at 49-23. The Jazz, 52-20. How impressive. The 2022 Suns, 64-18. The Miami Heat, 53-29. On and on it goes. This is not where we're at. We're not in an era. There are teams that have defied it, right? The Bucks have been legitimately good pretty much every single year during the Giannis era, but look at how that's also, they were the number 1 seed 2 years ago. They won 58 games when they lost to the Heat in the first round. 58. It's a lot of wins. It's not 60 plus or whatever, but it's still a lot of wins. It's just very hard, man. One of the things that I've really learned is every season's a microcosm. You don't get to carry over stuff year over year. I can't explain why. I don't know why it is that 1 year a team will be 18th in defense, and the next they'll be 6th, and the next they'll be 12th. I can't tell you why. I can't tell you why the Pacers don't have a top 3 offense this season. I can't tell you why some teams slide for no apparent reason defensively, but it does happen. Chemistry, small changes, coaching assistant changes, those type of things always shift. And when you have success, people get paid. And so does it look like the Cavs are going to be sustainable? For sure. But I'm skeptical because that's not the era we're in, especially with the CBA.
Yeah, and if they fall short of the finals, I think we'll find out how fragile the belief is there, if it can be broken. Because right now, I don't think this season anyone's been able to expose an existential problem with the Cavaliers in the same way that the Knicks have, but that can all change in the playoffs.
The whole conversation around Denver following the 2023 title was this is the start of a dynasty. And I was screaming. I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. Just win the one. And that's where you got to be, man. Like, you're great this year. You can win the title. Go win the title now. Worry about everything else later. You have a window right now. Go win the title and don't worry about anything else. Make the most out of this season. You got to win this year, Cleveland.
All right, not a lot of time left, but I want to do our storyline draft. We have been drafting the top storylines from this past regular season all week long. In round 1, Luka AD trade topped the list. In round 2, Nikola Jokic's insane season. The Houston Rockets, with that young team suddenly rebounding into a threat, that got drafted as well. Bronny James debuting with LeBron James rounded out the second round. We move into the third round. Matt, you've got the first pick. What do you think?
I can't believe that we're at 7 with this pick. And it's honestly, like, it's offensive to me that we have this. So how are the Thunder not higher? How are they going 7th? The Thunder are going to win 65 plus games. The Thunder have the best defense we've seen in since the 2004 Pistons. The Thunder have the MVP Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. The Thunder have a bazillion picks and all the Phalanx players and one of the best coaches in the league. The Oklahoma City Thunder have to be higher up on this list. So I'm going to take them number 7. There's so many great options here with the Phillies meltdown and the coaches being fired, but we have to put the Thunder here for how amazing the season has been for OKC.
Haize.
A storyline. I'm going to go with winning coaches don't mean that you're going to have a secure job. That's been the storyline that's been huge this year. So recency bias, yeah, but it's been evident, and we've seen it since Taylor Jenkins on to now. We've even seen it last year with Adrian Griffin. Like, being a winning coach right now means nothing for you as far as job security.
I wanna. So this is my pick. I want to reward the Cavaliers. They started the season 15-0. Like, that was a huge early storyline. But I'm going to give it up to the drama and say that Joel Embiid, I don't know if we can combine these, but the drama in the locker room combined with him shoving a reporter, like, that dominated our episodes early in our run. So I'm going to give this one to the drama and say with the 9th pick, I'm taking Joel Embiid, locker room brouhaha. That's how I'm going to describe it.
He shoved a reporter. Like,
it's huge.
Columnist.
It's huge. I'm sorry, Cavs.
Columnist. That's important.
It's different. Yeah, I'm sorry, Cavs. I think Cavs, I promise you, if Matt or Haize don't take you in round 4 tomorrow, I will take the Cavs in their 15-0 run because it was incredible. And then they put together a few more streaks as well throughout this season. They have been dominant as well. All right. Thank you so much for making Locked On NBA your first listen every day. If you like what you heard, make sure to subscribe. Tell a friend what we're doing here, wherever you get podcasts, including on YouTube. Enjoy tonight's action. Luka, Dallas. Make sure you're listening to Locked On NBA Game Time. On this feed, they're going to be recapping the game. And then, of course, all of us are going to return tomorrow to talk about all of the storylines on Locked On NBA. See you then.